Okay, we are live. And if you are watching, we are doing a introduction to Roblox Studio, special live stream with special guest Jay. That I will. He's just setting things up right now, so we'll say hi to him in just a bit. But I'm just making sure that everything is working okay, and we will start in just a couple of minutes. So this is going to be a live stream where we go through Roblox Studio from start for like complete beginners, and then we'll build 3 different games. And in the process, learn about the basics of Roblox Studio. Yes. So let's see here. I'm going to just test here if things are working. Yeah, it looks like it is working on YouTube. I can see it on this side. Okay, perfect. And I don't think I can see anyone here. If anyone is watching just right now, I haven't streamed in a while, so I would be surprised. Oh, there is one person that is watching, I guess. Maybe that's myself when I was testing things. But yeah, there is a little view counter up there. So we'll see if anyone ends up watching. I'd be surprised if too many people show up, because Roblox Studio is actually not something that my audience expects of me, I guess. It's more web development and other type of coding and just live streams about like life and things like that. So this is a bit of a different one. And the reason we are doing this actually is because I'll be running a Roblox camp, actually 2 of them, coming up quite soon for kids, where we will be building games in Roblox and doing some other things as well. And so I thought, why not make this content in preparation for the course? Because I am working on quite a bit of content for that. So, yeah. Jay, let me know when you are ready to go.
Yeah.
Like new account and everything.
Almost done.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna have about 1 hour, couple of minutes for this thing, which I guess is a good length to do a live stream. It's good to have this deadline. Whenever I feel like I put a deadline on my live streams, I usually get a lot more focused on, you know, I don't ramble as much. So it's
Let's see.
usually better.
All right. I am ready.
Okay. So let me see here. Do this. Okay, I'll maximize myself for a little bit, Jay, and I'll bring you in just a bit. Okay, we got our first comment, actually, which I'm pretty surprised by. Polster Naka is saying hi. Hey, Polster. Good to see you. Good to see you. We are just getting ready to start this very special introduction to Roblox Studio. So I'll just do a quick intro, which we can use in the edited video later on. Let's see. Let me get my YouTube voice and character on. Let's see, what should we say here? Let me think for a bit what's most important to say for the intro, which we can also edit in. And we got Dino Fan as well. Dino Fan 109. Hello there. Good to see you. We got 3 people watching right now. Okay, so let me do a quick intro right now. Hello, everyone. Rafid Hoda here, and we are doing a very special live stream today. No, actually, let's not mention live stream because in the video, it's just going to be a video that people are going to watch, right?
Mhm.
So let's see. Um, so Jay, if you can tell me how would you like introduce this in a YouTube video if you could, because you know what you're doing better than me because you're the expert. How would you kind of introduce this thing? So I have a little bit more information here.
Well, we're going to be doing a little session on Roblox Studio. Well, we'll learn the basics to make some games, and we'll try and make a couple of games ourselves with just, the basic concepts that we learn. And I think it will be very cool because a lot of these games are in the market and they're doing really well. So, yeah, let's see what we can do in 1 hour.
Okay. All right. So I'll do it now. Hello there. In this video, we are going to be learning about Roblox Studio. I'm going to be joined by special guest Jay, who's been a Roblox expert for many years. And we are going to be building 3 different games in this session, starting from the very, very basic. So if you've never done Roblox Studio before, this is the video for you. And then we're going to go on to more and more complex things, and you'll get a pretty good taste of everything that's possible in Roblox Studio. So let's bring in Jay. There we go. Jay, welcome to the video. Do you want to
Hello.
say just a couple of words about yourself?
Well, I've been a Roblox developer for a long time, but more than that, I've been a player on the platform for a longer time. I've been on it since 2014, and I've always had a dream of making a game that makes it big one day. I haven't reached that yet, but hopefully one day I will. And I've learned a lot in the process of trying to make my own game, and I hope that I could share some of those concepts with you guys today, and it works out well.
Awesome. So very, very happy and excited to have you, Jay. I've known you for a couple of days, but we've already worked a
Mhm.
little bit together and been very impressed by you. So the way that we're going to do this is that you're going to be the expert and you're going to lead the session, and I'm going to be the person asking the stupid questions and being the audience basically, so that
Mhm.
as you're going on, I can kind of extract all the knowledge from you, keeping in mind that this video is supposed to be for absolute beginners and also kids that are wanting to learn Roblox Studio. So with that in mind, actually, let's jump in. If you could share your screen and we can jump into Roblox Studio. And we already have some people that have been commenting so far. So we got Roteka, hi Roteka, and then we got Polster Naka saying make flight simulator. Okay, so we already have a request. Maybe we can come to that a little bit later. What do you think, Jay?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Flight simulator would be, a complicated project, but it can be done. It's not impossible.
Okay, so
And
maybe we
if
can
you,
talk about that later. I mean, we don't have to build the whole thing, but
yeah, of course.
awesome. So yes, so we're getting more and more people joining actually. Hey, OBN Malik, good to see you. So if you have any questions or anything like that as we go, please feel free to share them in the chat, and I will bring those up as we go for Jay. So we are gonna add in Jay's screen, I guess. Let's see. There we go. So we're gonna
Mhm.
hide ourselves actually, so that in the video, everything like you can see the screen actually, and you're not, seeing our faces hide the interface. So yeah, over to you, Jay. Let's start with the very first game.
So, I'm not gonna talk about everything that's going on in here because we only have an hour. But one thing that that's very common amongst all games is they start off with just a base plate. So all games, they click on the base plate and it opens up a template that everyone uses, and this is what you get. Now, in Roblox Studio, you might have these in different places. You might have this down here or over here, but it doesn't really matter. We're not going to be using this. So anything that says Explorer or properties, you can close for now because we just want to learn the basics and understand how to go on from there to make games and make more advanced games. So, as you can see right now, we have nothing in here. And you might be wondering how to move around and how to do everything inside of this. So, first of all, let's just click on play and see what happens. And yeah, it's just like your normal Roblox game. You can run around using WASD. You can control your mouse, you can hold right click. And if you turn on shift lock, I'm pretty sure you guys know what that is if you play Roblox. You can turn that on as well. It's all just like a normal Roblox game, except you're playing it inside of Roblox Studio. So we'll click on stop here. So yeah, there's the play button and the stop button. So anytime you want to play a game, you click on play, and anytime you want to stop and go back to editing your game, you click on stop. But for now, before I dive into more of the movement aspects of how you move around and stuff, um, let's first remove this. But yeah, anyways,
I'm
so
just want to ask you one thing, Jay. Sorry for the interruption.
mhm.
As you came in here, were there any panels on the left and right that you saw that you hid, or
Yeah, there was the Explorer and the Properties panel, and
okay,
there might also be an output panel for you guys.
right?
So there's an X over here.
Hmm.
You can find an X inside of these panels, so you can close them.
Okay,
And right now, all you need is just this and these buttons on top. That's
mm,
it. The
perfect.
home buttons, these ones. That's all we're gonna play with for right now, and you can make a decent game with just these as well.
Awesome.
Anyways, yeah. So, when you press play, you can move around with WASD, and you can jump and you can look around. You already know how to do that. The same way, when you're trying to edit a Roblox game inside of Studio, you can move around with WASD, and you can look around by holding down your right mouse click button and then looking around. So that's how you look around inside of a game. That's how you look around inside of Roblox Studio. It's pretty much the same thing. But inside of Studio, you get a bit more than what you have in the game, because in a game, if you try to fly, you won't be able to do that unless you have admin or some sort of game pass, or the game is about flight simulator. But anyways, inside of Roblox Studio, you can fly around anywhere. You have the freedom to go over to the edge of the map, or just like fly way up high just to view everything that you've made inside of your game. And another shortcut that I would like to mention is pressing Q and E to go up and down. uh, I don't use this that often, but it can be useful for some people, so you don't have to worry about that. All you need to know is WASD and looking around, and you're just navigating through this world and being comfortable with moving around.
All right. I'll just ask a question here because earlier I was trying to move around in Roblox Studio, and with
Mhm.
my mouse, when I was moving around, it was moving around very fast. So it was very difficult for me to like go exactly where I wanted. Is there a
Right.
way to like adjust that or something? Or
There is a way to adjust that. So if you hold down shift,
hmm.
if you hold down shift and you move around WSD,
Hmm.
you'll move pretty slowly.
Okay.
But there's a new feature that I don't have added right now, because in the default like Roblox Studio base plate, you don't get that.
Hmm.
But if I enable that, that's a different story, and that I guess should I will enable that, in fact. So this is what Roblox is going to look like in a couple of weeks, maybe.
Hmm.
And let's just call this Roblox tutorial.
Yeah, we're not seeing anything right now on the screen. I believe you've only shared maybe is it possible for you to share your whole screen? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Just give me a second.
Yeah,
Hold
no
on.
worries.
Entire screen. And all
Mhm.
right. There we go. Okay. So do you see my screen now?
Yeah, so if yeah, try to do the settings thing again.
Hmm. So for the settings, you would have to go to beta features,
Now we see it.
and inside of beta features, you have to enable the next gen studio preview.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, this is not like fully built yet, but it's mostly done. And this is what Roblox is going to look like in a couple of weeks, like permanently.
Okay.
So we'll work with this and we'll work around and we'll do everything that we have to do with this because it's going to be more relevant in the future. But anyways, so yeah, you can hold down shift to, slow down your movement. And there's also another way you can do that, but I guess you don't have to worry about that right now. So if you hold down shift, you're going to slow down your movement. And if you move around, it's just going to be the normal speed, right?
Perfect.
Yeah. So the next thing that we're gonna do is learn how to add a part inside of our game because right now it's very empty and you've seen Roblox game with a lot of things inside of them. So let's start off
Yeah.
by adding a simple part, right?
Could you, Jay, could you hide that little restream thing at the bottom there? Yes,
Right.
perfect. Thank
Oh
you.
my,
Yeah,
yeah.
continue.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Uh, I'll change this to 1 second. I'll change it to hide. If I can do that really quickly, otherwise not. Yeah, there we go. Automatically hide the taskbar.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, all right. So let's add a part inside of our game, and I guess you can tell like what we have to press to add a part. It's literally called a part, and if you click on it, wherever the center of your screen is, wherever the center, like where you're looking at inside of the world, that's where your part is going to spawn. Now, if you've used a computer before, you know the click and drag thing, and you can click and drag and select your part, or you can click on it and select it. And if you're messing around with it a bit, you'll realize that if you hold and drag it, you'll be able to move it around. Now, that's one of the easy ways to move it around. And I'll do something a little bit cool. You can stack parts on top of each other if you don't move your camera at all. But if you move your camera, obviously the position of that is going to change. So I'm going to select all of this and I'm going to press on delete on the keyboard and it will delete those parts. So, what we'll try to do is first of all make something simple. Maybe make a, coconut or a strawberry by using just the part, and we'll explore these different tools slowly as we add the parts, right?
Awesome.
So let's add the first part here. I'm gonna go a little bit closer so I can see clearly. There we go. So we have our part here. And if we want to make it look like a fruit, we'd have to add multiple parts on top of it. So let's imagine how a coconut or an egg or a strawberry looks like. Let's try to make an egg. That would be cool because a lot of games have eggs and we can turn that into something cool as well. So we know that an egg is oval shaped. Obviously it's like 3D. So we'd have to work with it like Lego bricks. Now you might be wondering, I can move the part around. I can add more parts. Maybe I can like stack them like this, move them around, and eventually I'll get something like an egg, right? But this is not convenient because I'm trying to adjust and try to find the right position to add this in. Maybe I have to move my camera and do this. Yeah, there we go. That kind of works, but it's a little bit I want to rotate this. I want to rotate it so that I can fit it like here so it looks more like an egg. So how do we do that, right? I'll delete these parts. So I'm gonna shift drag and just delete them. And then I'll add the part again. Now, over here, we have something called the scale tool. So with the scale tool, you get these couple of dots here, and this might look a little bit confusing if you've never, haven't done a certain type of mathematics related to axes and stuff, but you don't have to worry about that. This is really simple. If you click on the blue dot here and you hold down with your left mouse click button and you drag, you'll see that it expands the block. It makes it bigger or smaller in the direction of the blue dot. So we're basically we're holding this blue dot and we're stretching this part out. Now, the same way we can do the same thing with the red dot here, pulling and stretching it out, and we can make it bigger or smaller. And, we can do the same thing with the green dot in all directions. So we can pull and do that in all directions. So an egg isn't usually like this. So let's try to shape the base of the egg, right? So we're going to shape it like this. All right. Yeah, this is all right. This is a decent base. And then I'll add another part. Oh, okay. I'll have to resize this now, which is a little bit um not, intuitive, because then I'll have to resize every single part that I add. And maybe they're different sizes. You know what? Let's try it out. Okay. And we're doing the same thing. We're running into a little bit of a problem. Now that we know how to resize and kind of, make it look a little bit better, but the problem still lies. Some of them are could be different sizes, and I still have to move them around a bit. So the other thing that I'm going to introduce to make this a little bit easier is, first of all, duplicating these objects and making it easier for us to clone them. But actually, before that, I'm going to talk about the move tool because that's a little bit more important. So let's say I have this part and I want to make another part just like this, rectangular part, and I'm gonna scale it up to be like this, so it's like the egg is kind of getting into its shape. And maybe I want to move it a little bit further down because I don't want it to stack up exactly like this. So what I'll do is I'll use the move tool and I'll shift it a bit down. And now, it's the same concept with the scale. So you hold with your left mouse click button and you can drag it, and it will drag it up or down depending on where you're moving it around. Same thing with the blue arrow, left or right or in this direction, wherever you want it to be. And so let's continue making our egg. If you've played Minecraft before, this should come easy to you. Or, if you played Legos before, it's pretty much the same concept. So let's just try to make a nice egg here. And let's see what we can do with that. All right. So we have this egg, and then I'll add another part. But you can see, I have to keep on adding parts, resizing them. That's a little bit of a problem too. So we're going to make that a little bit easier as well because we want all these parts to be the same size, right? And the way that we can do that is inside of this, we don't have it here, but if there's a keyboard shortcut, so if you hold down Control and D, you'll be able to duplicate an object. And now I did press Control and D, but you don't see anything that's being duplicated here, right? But that's because it duplicated in the exact spot of the part. So if I click on the part and I click on the move tool and I move it aside a little bit, you'll see that there's two parts instead of one. And that way we can, make the process a little bit faster and duplicate a little bit more and more.
Is there a
Uh,
way you can duplicate without using a keyboard shortcut?
inside of the
Perhaps like by
studio,
right clicking on the part?
yeah, you can right click on the part. So if you right click on the part, you'll get the option to duplicate or delete if you don't know where that is on your keyboard or you
Nice.
cannot find it. So yeah, you
And
can
there it says
duplicate
Control
like
D
that.
as well, so it gives you the
Yes.
shortcut there. Nice.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to continue building our egg based on what we know now. So we know that we have delete, we have duplicate, we have scale, we have move. And with these four tools, we're going to make a nice looking egg. And then we'll talk about something else to give it more personality. So anyways, I'm going to continue forward with my egg. I'm going to move it a little bit up so I can visualize it a bit better. So I'm going to move the base, and then I can move this, or I can drag, select, and move both of them together. All right. It might be a little bit too overwhelming for you, so you can just move the base and then move the other part, and you can align them. And if you have any problems moving around, you can hold down shift and move around. It'll be a bit slower. It's all right. I have the base. Maybe the base is a little bit too big, so I'm going to add another base below that. So we have Control D to duplicate. I'm going to move it down with the move tool, and then with the scale tool, I will now just reduce the size. So that way we have a nice looking base. I think that's good. And let's now speed up the process so you understand how this is done uh, like faster this way. So this might be a little bit too big. So I'm gonna do this, and then this. So I duplicate it again, and I'm going to expand this a little bit. Oh, there we go. Just holding click and drag. And the same way, we're just gonna do this one. So it's just simple, using the simple tools to make an egg, right? And we're just gonna select and drag, and then we can duplicate these two all together. So we'll do that. And then we can use the move tool to move them upwards. That's also a trick that you can use if you want to. And let's now reduce this. Oh, I forgot to unselect both of them, and I was reducing both of them together. So that's also something you have to keep in mind. Sometimes that happens, and I'll make it like this. And we have a semi-decent egg. Doesn't really look like one because it's all clamped up together, but there we go. It's an all right egg. You might say, it doesn't really resemble an egg yet, but that's because well, we only had a limited amount of tools, but still we're able to make an egg. Now we can make this even better. Say, it's Easter or something and you want to color this egg up a bit. Now how would we do that? So you see there's something called color over here, but if we click on it, nothing really happens, right? But if I click on a part, then you see the color, it changes. I can click on it and nothing happens still. But if you hold down your left mouse button and click on it, you hold down your left mouse button, you'll see a bunch of colors appear here. So let's change this to a nice red, and then we can do the same thing with the other parts. We can change it, just click on that, or if we want it to be a different color, we hold down our left mouse button and then maybe a different shade of red. No, I think that's too similar to that one. So like this, and then I'll change this to um, maybe this red, and let's make it even. So let's make it the same over here. So we already have this red selected, so I'm just gonna click on this and then click on the color, and the same thing with this. So I forgot which color this was, so I'll quickly go over here. I'll hold down my left mouse button, and then I'll select this one. And now it's looking kind of cool, right? And let's make this one as well. Let's make this a little bit of a different color. Let's make this blue, light blue. Yeah, that looks all right. That doesn't really look like light blue, but it's okay. So now we have this. Now let's go back into our game and play our game to see how our egg looks like right now. So if we click on this play button right here, we will be able to play the game like normal. And oh, um, you see how everything just fell apart? Well, that is called physics. And in the real world, if you drop something, the same thing happens, right? Because, You can't have something be afloat unless it's an airplane. But that is a bit different. But anyways, we didn't want it to fall down. It doesn't fall down inside of Roblox Studio when we're editing it. So why does it fall down when we're playing the game? It doesn't make sense, right? But the reason that happens is because for game developers, they have to, give everything a specific rule, a specific behavior, a specific kind of condition to follow to make it easier for us to make games. And we had to really communicate that through every single object and every single prop, like setting that we can change. And in this case, a part has a setting called anchor. And when you throw an anchor in a ship and it holds the ship in place, it's the same concept. If you anchor this part, that means it's going to stay in place. It's not going to move no matter what. And if you are smart enough, you'll see that there is a anchor button right here. Um, and if you click on it, it should anchor this part. So now if I go back to play and I look around, I see my egg. I see that this part is anchored, but are the other parts anchored? Let's see. I can move around on them, so I guess it's fine. But let's anchor another part so we get a better understanding of that. So in this case, let's try and anchor this part over here. And we'll click on anchor and we'll unanchor this one. So the way that you unanchor a part is you click on it, you have the anchor icon highlighted, and if it's highlighted, you know that it's anchored. Otherwise, you can unanchor it. So we'll go back to play. We just anchored this top part here. And what should happen theoretically is only this part should stay afloat, just like a ship would, and stay in place just like a ship would, and the other part should fall down. So let's click play and quickly test this out. And yeah, just as we said, only that part stays afloat. So let's go back and anchor all of these parts. So I'm gonna click. Oh, I moved it around. Now when that happens, you can press Control plus Z. Now there used to be inside of Roblox Studio a undo button here, but I can't really see it right now. So one of the shortcuts that you do, if you mess up or if anything you do, you want to revert back the changes, you change the color of something, you didn't like it, you have to hold down your control button and then press Z at the same time, and it's going to revert the change that you just made. So anyways, we were trying to anchor all of these parts. So let's anchor this one and then this one. And if you have a lot of parts in your game, that could be a bit tiring because you'd have to select every single part, and maybe you accidentally drag it around and you have to press Control and Z again. So it's a little bit tough, but there is an easier way to do this. And it is, yes, you select and drag, and you'll see that the anchor button isn't highlighted anymore because for these elements, they aren't anchored, some of them. So what we'll do, we'll just click on anchor once, and now all of these should be anchored. So let's test that out real quick. And yeah, that is true. All of them have been anchored. And now I can climb on top of it. I can do anything I want, but it won't fall apart. So with these tools in mind, I think we can make something pretty cool, right? So let's try and make an obby. I'm sure you've all played an obby before, and maybe we can make a staircase obby. Something simple right now just to get started. And we have our tools and everything that we need to make this. We know the duplicate, we know scale, we know move, and we know anchor, we know color. So let's get into making an obby. So I'm going to select and drag this, and then I'm going to use the move tool to move it a little bit closer to spawn. Since we always face that way whenever we spawn, I'm going to move it over here. And then we have our first staircase egg. So we'll move it a little bit down so it's easier for players to jump. And now if you thought that we could duplicate this whole part altogether by using select and drag, yes we can. You can either right click and duplicate, or control plus D. So there we have our second part, and we can move it a little bit further up using the move tool. And, we can continue doing the same thing. But there's another one small thing that I would like to introduce before we move forward. I'll say accidentally, you select everything and maybe you're trying to select just this part, but you're not able to. You just want to select this part, but all these parts are getting selected and you move it around accidentally and it's a little bit of a problem because you have to select and drag every single time. So there is a way to make this whole entire egg looking part into, kind of one grouped part. So that way we can just click on it and move it around. And the way that we do that is we select and drag. And then if you right click, and you'll notice here there's something called group as model. And there is a shortcut for this as well. It's Control plus G, but that may be a little bit hard to remember since it's not as intuitive as Control plus D, since D could replicate, duplicate. But anyways, group as model. So if you group as model, you'll notice that all the lines that we could see before are gone. And right now, we have a singular part that we can move around. And anytime we click on it, we can move it around. And so we have our own egg model here right now. So let's continue building our staircase really quickly. So we're going to use the shortcuts, which is Control plus D, and then moving it out and up. Control plus D, moving it out and up. Control plus D, moving it out and up. And you can keep on doing this until you have a pretty big staircase. But even this is a little bit hard. Maybe you're trying to build a staircase which is like 1,000 steps, right? And doing this 1,000 times can take a lot of time. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the technique that we already know, which is select and drag, and then we can duplicate. And now this is magic. We can do a lot of stairs at once. And we'll do the same thing. We'll select and drag. We'll right click, duplicate, and wow, this is way faster than doing this one by one. And now already we have a pretty large staircase or an obby kind of thing with just eggs. And so let's do this one more time. And I think this is more than enough. This is way too much, in fact. So let's try and play our game. We got a nice little shape here. Um, and you can make it into whatever shape you want, but ultimately our goal is to reach the endpoint, but we don't really see an endpoint here right now. Before we get to our endpoint, let's play our game. Let's see if our staircase works. So we'll go into playing mode, and yeah, we have our obby here. Oh, and it works. And oh, I almost fell down. But there's nothing at the end of the staircase. So what's the point of reaching the end if we're just gonna stay? Oh, and I fell down. If we're just gonna stay on one egg. So what we'll do is we'll click on stop and we'll make like an end platform to make it feel like you've reached the end. And we can do that by making a really big egg, or you have another idea. You can make a different kind of egg, different shape, or you can make a full garden full of eggs, right? So let's say I want to make a garden full of eggs, which is where you reach and you get all the eggs, right? So I'm gonna add a part first because a garden needs to have grass, and it's all the way down there. So we're gonna select the move tool and we're going to move it up so that we are, on the same level as our eggs here. And we'll move it a bit down. Let's say this is the endpoint, and we're going to make sure, it's aligned by using our WASD key, shift, and our right click, mouse, everything. And right now, this garden is looking really small, so we're going to scale it up. We're going to make it a little bit bigger, right? And let's say, yeah, I think this is a decent garden, right? And obviously, a garden has to be green. I mean, the grass has to be green. Maybe you want to make it another color. That's up to you. But I'm going to stick with green for now. So I'm going to hold down on this color button and I'll go with this type of green. And there's no eggs on this yet. So we're going to be a little bit, sneaky. And we're going to take one of these eggs and we'll control D and then use the move tool to move it on the garden, or we can click and just drag it here. And we'll just add a bunch of these eggs, to make you feel like you've reached the final egg land. So I'm going to duplicate, I'm going to move this, duplicate, move this, duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. But as you can see, you know, just duplicating and moving it around, it doesn't look so natural. So there's another thing that we can do to make it look even better, which is to use the rotate tool. Now, if you click on the rotate tool, what it basically gives you are these circles, this red circle outline, this blue circle outline, this green circle outline. Now, it might look a little bit complicated, but trust me, it's the same thing. It's like there's a string around this part, and you're pulling on this string, and you can rotate it according to wherever you drag your mouse. So I'm gonna make it look a little bit more natural. I'm gonna rotate it this way, and then I'll use the move tool, and I'll make like a bundle of X. So I'm going to move this here. I'm going to move it a little bit inside, maybe rotate this a bit. So I'm going to use a rotate tool. I'm going to drag on this red one and then move it a little bit further down. And I'll have this one right here just sticking on top, and we'll do the same thing, rotate and just drag it down. And the way that we can add a little bit more variation is by scaling these. So now that we have this bundle of like eggs here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag and select, hold on, or I can click on them and I can hold down my shift button on the keyboard and select them one by one. Because if you try and drag this part like this, you're trying to drag here, you might actually drag your grass, so we don't want to do that. And so what you can do is click on it and then pull down your shift button on the keyboard and then click on this. Or, if you just want to use the drag tool, you can do that. And you got to be a little bit careful about it, but you know, I was able to do it, so you can too. And guess what? We can use the group as a model thing again, and we'll do just that. We're going to group it as a model, and now we have a bundle of eggs together, right? And so let's move this one here, and then we'll do control and duplicate, and then move it around as, oh, I actually moved that around. So control plus Z to revert the changes, and then move that around here, make it a little bit smaller. We have a little bit of variation. We're going to rotate this as well. And now I have two eggs. So I'm going to move these over here. They'll be the final, they'll just be standing there. But this looks kind of cool. So I'm just going to click on both of these same way that we did. So we're going to click on this, hold down shift and click on this. And then we have both of these selected. And then I can duplicate. So there's like a lot of variations, right? This is like Lego pieces. You don't have to do one after the other. You can do it in many variations. You can do it with just a part. You can do it with a model. You can do it with a model, which includes a lot of models. So there's a lot of variations that you can go with here, but essentially they all, boil down to the same thing. So duplicate is going to duplicate whatever you have selected, and then you can move it out as long as you have them selected together. And then I'll rotate this, and now we have a little bit of an egg island going on here. So oh, I actually moved the green part again. And you know how we're moving the green part over and over again? Um, it's a little bit annoying. So there's this button called lock here. And if you click on this, what it will do is now I cannot select the green object again. So if there's something annoying you, you can click on that. But I don't recommend doing this for right now. You just have to bear with it because it will be a little bit more complicated if you want to move your part around again. So for right now, we're just gonna click Control Z and we're gonna make it available to move around. But right now, we're just gonna move it a little bit further down so we can mess around with our parts because we just want to select this. So we'll select all of this and then we'll duplicate again and move it aside. And I think that's enough eggs for an egg island. So I'm gonna move the green part back up, and I'm going to adjust these a little bit. I'm going to hold this and drag it down, maybe move it, rotate it, and we are almost done with this little obby staircase that we have here. Just moved here, and I think this is kind of cool, right? Um, it's almost done, and move this one right over here and this one over here. You can adjust it any way you like. And there we go. All right. So let's play our game and let's see if it works and we can reach our island of eggs here. So we're gonna click on play and oh, I'm pretty sure you can figure out why that green part fell down. And maybe, you can figure it out yourself, but it's pretty obvious. We didn't anchor the part. So it's not going to stay in the place that we intended it to be. So we're going to do just that. We're going to click on it and anchor it again. And that was, your first debug session if you had the same problem as me, or that was our first debug session. And we're going to have a lot of those when we make games inside of Roblox. So let's go play our game, and nothing is falling down. And we know that there's something up there, and we have to reach there by climbing these stairs. So let's try and finish the game. And if I fall down, well, you might be better at finishing your own game, but I'm going to try my best to not fall down so we can experience. Oh, that was a bit of a fall there. And you can make the gaps between. Oh, no, I fell down here. But it's all right. We know that the egg island is up there and we'll eventually get there. So let's try one more time. And if it doesn't work, well, you can finish your own game and show off to your friends that you were able to finish your own obby or maybe erase them. But we'll do that pretty soon. Let me just try and get to the top. There we go. Almost there. Just one step at a time. Wow, this is a really long staircase. And we made it to the top. And we have a lot of eggs at our disposal that we can, do whatever we want with them. But that was, the first basic obby game that you can make. And yeah, what do you think about this? Do you have any questions to ask or anything you want to say?
Very, very good. Let's see here. Put this here or like this, maybe. Um, yeah, I think this was a very, very good introduction. I don't think we should actually go into much more after this because I think this is good for a first session. But I would like to ask you, like the whole process of like saving this and publishing this and getting it out
Mhm.
there so that I can go in and also play this game and we can play it together. Maybe we can end with that.
Yeah, we can end with that for
Yeah.
sure. So, I'm gonna stop playing the game first of all, and we want to be able to play this with our friends. So the way that we do that, it's simple, but it's not. It might be a little bit overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. So the first thing that you're gonna have to do is click on game settings, and um, the first time you do this, you may not get this same screen, and it may ask you to save the game first. And in that case, you're just gonna have to type a name and then click on save, and it's gonna restart Studio for you. Don't worry, you're not gonna lose your progress. But make sure you always save your game before closing off of Roblox Studio, because sometimes if you don't save your game, you may lose all of the progress that you've made. So always, whenever you're starting out, let me just show you an example. So I have this game already saved, but I'm gonna open a new Roblox file, just like we did. We clicked on the template, and we're back in the start here, right? And what you want to do is click on File. Say we've made the obby here and we've added everything we wanted to. We're going to go over to File and we're going to save to Roblox. And there we go. It shows us, just the basic info. So we're going to name our game whatever we want to name it. We're going to add a description and we're going to click on Save. And that way, this is now saved inside of Roblox Studio, but it's not published for other players to play the game, right? So I'm gonna close this again. I'm gonna go back to our obby game. And since I already have this saved, I'm gonna click on game settings again. And then over here, I'm gonna go over to permissions. And then I'll make the game public so that anyone can play it, or I can make it connections only. So only my friends or connections can play the game instead of just anyone on the platform. So for right now, I'm gonna make it public since I don't have any friends on this new account. But maybe Rafid will be my first friend. So
Of
I'll
course.
save it. And after that, it's still not published to Roblox. Now, why is that? We saved the game multiple times. We added the public part there, but it's still not saved. The reason for that is because save just saves it to Roblox Studio, and publish to Roblox, it saves it as a game. It updates the game with whatever you have in here, and makes it accessible for everyone. So you want to click on save, and then you want to click on publish. Now, after you've done that, um, this is another thing that this is a little bit of a problem here. Um, so, well, do you want to go through this right now, Rafid, or?
Yeah, I think we should.
All right. So basically, whenever you make a game, there's certain aspects in the game which you have to specify. And it might be a little bit complicated when you look at it, but it doesn't have to be. So since we're making just an obby game, there's nothing weird about it. We're gonna fill out our questionnaire, and for most of the stuff, we're gonna have to say no because uh, we're not really doing anything. There's no violence in the game, there's no blood, there's no fear unless you scare your friend into
Maybe
falling off.
if you're afraid of heights or something.
If you're afraid of heights, the fear
Mm.
thing is mainly when you have something inside of the game that's
Yeah,
supposed to scare you,
right.
instead of something that might be a
Yeah,
bit of
like
a fear for someone.
ghosts or something like that, right?
Yes,
Mm.
ghosts. If you're scared of pandas and there's pandas in the game, you shouldn't click on yes because
Okay.
there's a lot of people who aren't scared of pandas, right?
Yeah.
This is for the general majority. So that's why we're just gonna click on no for this. There's no crude humor, but there's just eggs in the game, right? But if you have anything like poop maybe inside of your game,
Mm.
um, so you should click on yes, but otherwise we're gonna click on no. And then for this gambling related content, you can click on no. And social hangout as well, you can click on no. There's no free form use. You can just click on no for this one because we'll not be making anything like that. And no for this one as well. So for most of them, you have to say no, except maybe if you add any crude humor. Um, so yeah, no and no and no and no. No, so you have to go through this. It's a little bit annoying, but it's important for the safety of everyone in Roblox,
Yeah.
for all age groups. So
So
we're
this
gonna
is
submit
something
this now.
this is
Yeah,
something that has to be done for every single game that you publish, right?
exactly. This is
Yeah.
something that you have to do for every single game, and it's just to make Roblox a safer place for the kids
Yeah.
and anyone playing it. So we'll click on submit now, and this way anyone can play our game. And yeah, now our game is rated. So you'll see it says minimal right over here. We don't have to worry about this again. But now since you're on this page, you can go directly to the link of your game and play it. So if you click
Mhm.
on these three dots and then you go over, click on view on Roblox, you'll see that it is now a game on Roblox. And if I send this link over in chat, maybe
Yeah.
everyone can try and join, right? Or
Yeah.
you can join me,
I
right?
I I can
How do
join.
I
Yeah, I
do
don't
that?
think there's that many people watching, but
All
you
right.
can send it to me.
I'm just gonna. How do I send you a chat? I'll just send it over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So try and join the game. See if you can hop on in the same server as me. Oh, hold on.
Yeah. It's opening.
Open. Oh, I'm having a little bit of a problem with my Roblox Studio. Give me a second. I think I have to log into this account on Roblox Studio. I mean, on Roblox as well. So I'm just gonna
Okay.
unshare my screen and log in really
Sure.
quick and share it back again.
All
All
right.
right? Yeah.
You can. Yeah. Okay. Good. I can share my screen in the meantime, I guess, and show that it is working. share screen. Which one? This one. There we go. And maybe I'll put myself on the side here. Yes, so we are in Jay's obby game. Let's see if I can complete this game. I'm really bad at this. So uh, let's see. Oh, I got stuck. Wait, let me go back a little bit, and then there we go. That's better. Oh, uh, there. Okay, now I'm getting the hang of it.
All right, I'm gonna join you as well in
Okay.
just a second. And
Hey. Oh, I got stuck again. Oh, 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 oh. Thank God. I didn't.
hold on, it's not letting me log in. Give me a second.
Yay.
Oh,
Okay.
you already finished it.
I
Okay.
finished it. I got it. Ah.
All right.
Okay. So, obbies are basically a genre of games, right? That are perhaps the most popular on Roblox.
Yeah, they are the most they have been around for a very long time and they will be around for a very long time. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what other big genres of games are there, would you say?
Well, there's obviously there's obby games. And then there's games, where you simply collect objects. And there's a little bit more advanced obby games. So there's obby games that have, a little bit of a uh like a death part, or maybe like a part that hurt damages you every time you walk on it.
Hmm.
Or there are games like where you have to find all the different kind of ducks you can think of, and they're hiding somewhere in the map.
Okay.
And then there's games like, they just are role play games. So maybe somebody wants to role play, as inside of a camp doing some kayaking or whatnot. So
Hmm.
you just make a map and you'd assign different teams to different players, and that would be also very simple. And we can look into that later. But as far as it goes, there's also more complicated games to make that are on Roblox, like battleground games or Steal a Brain Rot. That's also its own category nowadays, or Grow a Garden. All of these games, and all of these games started off as just a base plate, and with a little bit more advanced topics and skill, you can make any game you want on Roblox. But yeah, there's also horror games, which a lot of people like to play, like Doors.
Hmm.
And then there's some classic games like Murder Mystery 2. There's probably also a rock paper scissors game, or maybe there's a game where you have to build a tower high enough and just jump off of it and see who has the biggest tower, or whatever you can think you can make inside of Roblox. And yeah, it's the fact that Roblox has been around for a very long time. There's exactly that many creative ideas floating around that I can't even name all of them,
Yeah.
right?
Uh, so uh, this is not so much relating to Roblox Studio, but let me actually. This Batman is pretty. There you go. There you are.
There you
Uh,
go. Yes.
so yeah, and we can chat here as well. Hello.
Hmm.
Yeah, nice. And yeah, so for me, I'm a millennial. I'm 34 years old, so I was a bit too old when Roblox was starting to become a thing. But um, can you maybe try to explain Roblox's significance to a person who is perhaps a millennial, Gen Xer, boomer that are maybe not so much playing games, but still on their phones a lot,
Mhm.
but maybe scrolling Facebook, chatting, Messenger, WhatsApp, Instagram Reels, TikTok, reading news, things like that. To that audience, like your parents probably,
Mhm.
um, why are kids spending like upwards of, several hours a day playing Roblox? And and so how do you think the world has changed? Even though you also are pretty young, but I feel like you're right in the middle of the older generation and the younger one. So
Yeah.
how would you explain the significance of Roblox and how what it gives the kids and teenagers and older people that play it? Yeah, is there anything comparable to?
Well, Roblox is a growing platform, and at this point, there's almost something, for everyone on the platform. And if anyone were to go and look on Roblox, they would probably find and enjoy whatever game, there's a game for them on Roblox that somebody
Mhm,
has made. And the thing with that is like it's evolving and it's growing and there's games that like Clash Royale during your time or Clash of Clans that were really popular, or maybe even Candy Crush that a lot
mhm.
of older people play. The same way, those games are addicting, they are fun to play, and you can play it with friends. You can it's kind of a way of, hanging out with your friends nowadays, just digitally on Roblox. You're running around, you're having fun. And it will keep on growing, and there's gonna be other kind of age groups that will join in. And it started off as a kids platform. It actually Roblox started off as a physics engine to educate kids, or high schoolers, and it eventually became into what it is today. And before it was like games like Jailbreak, Murder Mystery, and just very simple games. But now, since Roblox has been around for a while, the games have evolved into either something more complex or something suitable for all different types of ages, right? And also, one more factor that is helping out here is the growing of entertainment media on the internet, right? So a lot of the like biggest YouTubers or streamers, they play Roblox and they have fun on it. But there are certain things that you have to watch out for. But that's like with anything on the internet. Um, so yeah. Is there anything you want to ask me specifically related to that?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so as we if you're watching this, you're probably aware that Roblox is under a lot of pressure. They have been for a while, but especially in the last several weeks. Um, and um, Do you have anything to say about that in terms of, like, let's say there's a parent that's watching and
Mhm.
they want to make sure that their kids, because I guess, like, since nowadays most kids are on Roblox, telling your kid you can't play Roblox at all, it's almost like saying that you can't go out and you're grounded in some ways.
Mhm. Mhm.
So but I understand if a parent makes that decision, obviously. But
Yeah.
would you say that you have maybe some tips for parents on what are some simple steps that can be taken to ensure that the experience for their kids is as safe as possible?
Well, just like when social media came around, it also had problems. And what parents did to tackle it was, monitor their children's social media. So they either had access to the account and they could see what their kid was posting, following or whatever. The same thing applies to Roblox. The simplest thing you can do is just keep an eye on what your child plays. So you don't want them playing, games that look weird, or maybe games, where other people can talk to you. And a simple way that you can do that, it eliminates all the risk there is basically turning off chat inside of the settings. And it's a very simple, easy step to do. If you don't want your child to communicate with strangers, you just want them to play and have fun, then you can disable that inside of the settings. And another thing you can do is there's parental controls inside of Roblox. So you can monitor who has sent your child a request, who they're talking to, and everything, and maybe limit access to games that you don't want them to play. Um, but that requires an extra step of making a Roblox account and linking your child's account to your account, so that way you can monitor it. But a lot of people don't do that. So I think the one simple step that everyone can take is just making sure that your child is playing games that do not look weird, and to make sure that they're not communicating with strangers online. And if you do, I think those two things, then I don't really think that a kid or a parent has a lot to worry about, because kids usually play games like Steal a Brain Rot or Grow a Garden, and in those games, there's not really much something sociable happening, right? Those
Mm,
games are just games like Candy Crush and anything else. So
I see. So you're
yeah.
saying you're saying that maybe we can do another session on specifically this, so that we
Mhm.
go ahead and like create an account, and see what different ways parents can kind of take control of the controls, basically.
Right.
Um, but you're saying that the only way that something risky can happen on Roblox is through the chat that they have, the text chat.
Well, not that specifically, but just playing games that kids are not supposed to be playing. So
Okay.
if a kid is playing game, if a kid is playing a game, where they're kind of yeah, where there's too much inappropriate stuff, or maybe it's slightly inappropriate even, where they have to communicate with other strangers.
Hmm.
Games like that they shouldn't be playing. But in general, even like if you use the chat, it's all right. But if you want to be extra safe, just turn that off. Um, but yeah.
Okay. And are kids losing out on something if they don't have the chat uh, function available? I guess it would be the case, right? It's because they can't talk with their friends and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that's the only thing
Yeah.
there. But I'm pretty sure, maybe I'm not sure if
Mm.
maybe I'll research about this a little bit, because
Yeah.
I've never really had to disable it myself.
Yeah. Of course.
Because yeah, I've never really had any safety issues on Roblox, because I followed the rule of thumb when you're on the internet, which
Yeah.
is to never share your personal information, and don't talk to strangers, like don't make them like close to you,
Yeah.
and all of that stuff. I
Mm.
never did any of that when I was under 18. And obviously I had to do that after, because I was making connections in terms of my Roblox developer uh, growth and area. But I never really took it off of the platform and made it personal. It was either we're playing as friends or we're building something together inside of Roblox Studio, and that's pretty much where it was at, for me, for
Yeah.
all of these years that I played Roblox. I was either playing with my brother, my friends, or friends that I made on Roblox, but they only stayed on Roblox. I never gave them any sort of personal information.
Makes sense. All right. Very good. I think that's all for this session. Thank you so much, Jay, for joining. I think we'll do a lot more of these in the future, but I think
Hmm.
it was a very good first one. We got a full game completed. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this. And that's it for this one. And until next time, we'll see you. We'll see you then. We'll see you next time. Is what I was trying to say. Okay. Thanks, Jay, for joining, and
No
thanks everyone
problem
for
again.
joining the stream. All right. Let's see.